Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Indian Space Research Organisation carries out historic 100th mission from Sriharikota. GSLV F-15 successfully carries NVS-02 into its planned orbit. India rejects Canada's report on election interference, says that it is Trudeau government which is consistently interfering in India's internal affairs. A US court temporarily blocks President Donald Trump's freeze on funding for federal aid programs at an emergency hearing after Trump's order triggers nationwide chaos and confusion. M23 rebels take control of DRC city of Goma as UN and African Union call on the rebels to lay down arms. Embassies targeted in Kinshasa as US urges UN intervention. The Indian Space Research Organisation has achieved a historic milestone with successful launch of its 100th mission from Sriharikota, carrying the NVS-02 satellite into the orbit. We get your detailed report ahead. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The Indian Space Research Organisation achieved a remarkable milestone on Wednesday with the successful launch of its 100th mission from Sriharikota. The GSLV F-15 rocket carrying the NVS-02 satellite lifted off from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre in the South Indian state of Andhra Pradesh.
I am extremely happy to announce from the spaceport of ISRO that the first launch of this year, 2025, has been successfully accomplished.
GSLV F-15 very successfully executed its mission by placing the NVS-02 satellite into its precise geostationary transfer orbit. We mark a historic milestone, the 100th mission from Sriharikota, the spaceport of India.
The NVS-02 satellite is a navigation satellite equipped with payloads in L1, L5 and S bands as well as a ranging payload in C band. With a lift-off mass of 2,250 kilograms and power handling capability of approximately 3 kilowatts, NVS-02 is designed to enhance India's indigenous navigation with Indian Constellation or NAVIC system.
Coming to NVS-02, it is the second satellite in the second generation of the navigation satellite series, NVS series, for the NAVIC constellation. Similar to its predecessor NVS-01, it has an indigenous atomic clock, which will showcase our capability in this very critical technology. Also, it has L1 band navigation signal, along with the heritage L5 and S signals. It will expand and widen our navigation services. The main mission objective of NVS-02 is to provide position, navigation and timing services for the Indian mainland and 1,500 kilometers surrounding it.
The NAVIC system is India's answer to global navigation satellite systems. It provides crucial position, velocity and timing services. ISRO's 100th launch from Sriharikota marks a significant achievement for the space agency. Since its first launch in 1979, ISRO has come a long way, achieving numerous historic milestones.
So this launch, this 100th launch by GSLV placing NVS-02 is going to significantly enhance the PNT services in the country and is going to contribute a lot to the science and technology. Again, it is a significant milestone for us, demonstrating our commitment for self-reliance and indigenous development.
The Indian Space Research Organisation has demonstrated its capabilities in launching satellites, spacecraft and other payloads into the orbit and has established itself as a major player in the global space community. With inputs from Anabarsan Elango, Antara Sinha for DD India.
Also, DD India's correspondent Anbarasan Elango spoke to ISRO chief V. Narayanan after the historic launch. The chief threw light on the journey of ISRO from 1979 and elaborated on the latest GSLV F-15 launch.
ISRO has successfully launched the 100th mission. So what about the humble start from the 1979? We are reached right to the 100th mission.
No, it is a great starting. 1979 we had the first SLV-3 launch. After that we have developed generations of launches including ASLV, PSLV, GSLV, GSLVM-3, SSLV. And with all these things we have accomplished this mission. And through this rocket launches, we have accomplished important missions like Chandrayaan 1, Chandrayaan 2, Chandrayaan 3, Mars Orbiter landing mission, Mars Orbiter mission, and placing 104 satellite in a single mission, accomplishing space recovery experiment. Like a lot of things are done. Not only that, communication satellites, navigation satellites, remote sensing satellite, satellite for disaster warning and management, satellite for earth observation, satellite for resource management. Lot of things have been done through this 100.
The Union Cabinet recently cleared the third launch for the Sriharikota.
No, third launch pad is meant for sending the next generation launcher, which is 1000 kg lift-off mass, 91 meter height rocket. Also for improving the frequency of launch of the LVM-3 rocket, plus for future human spaceflight program. So that already we got approval. In 4 years we are going to complete the project.
India has firmly and unequivocally rejected a Canadian Commission's report about alleged interference. The Ministry of External Affairs issued a strongly worded rebuttal dismissing the baseless allegations by Canada. The MEA said, and I quote, "We have seen a report about alleged activities on purported interference. It is in fact Canada which has been consistently interfering in India's internal affairs. This has also created an environment for illegal migration and organized criminal activities. We reject the report's insinuations on India and expect that the support system enabling illegal migration will not be further countenanced." Shifting focus to the U.S., where President Donald Trump's attempt to freeze hundreds of billions of dollars in federal aid was temporarily blocked in court on Tuesday. Minutes before it was due to take effect, a federal judge blocked Trump's spending freeze that would have affected thousands of federal grant programs. The court will revisit the issue on Monday. The Trump administration said programs delivering benefits directly to Americans would not be affected. The White House said the freeze was needed to ensure federal aid programs are aligned with the Republican president's priorities. It was unclear whether other multi-billion-dollar grant programs such as scientific research, highway construction and addiction recovery would be affected. Democrats criticized the spending freeze as unlawful and dangerous. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio issued a waiver on Tuesday for life-saving humanitarian assistance during a 90-day pause in foreign aid while Washington undertakes a review. The U.S. foreign aid pause risks cutting off billions of dollars for life-saving assistance. The United States is the largest single donor of aid globally. In fiscal year 2023, it disbursed $72 billion in assistance. Donald Trump has also ordered an end to all federal funding or support for healthcare that aids the transition of transgenders under the age of 19. The order fulfills a campaign promise to end child sexual mutilation. An apparent reference to transgender-related healthcare such as puberty blockers and hormone therapy that helps people transition of the people from one gender to another. The order aims to block Medicare payments for such healthcare, also known as Obamacare, which prohibits insurance companies from denying coverage to transgender patients. Trump directed the Health and Human Services Secretary to, within 90 days, publish a review of the existing literature on best practices for transgender healthcare for minors. President Donald Trump on Tuesday offered most federal workers the option to leave their jobs in exchange for 8 months severance. The deferred resignation program would allow federal employees to remain on the payroll through September 30th, but not have to work. Federal buyouts are generally capped at $25,000. The email gives federal employees until February 6th to decide whether to take part. As per the email received, the administration expects to see a more streamlined and flexible workforce. While the military and some agencies are likely to increase the size of their staff, the majority of agencies are likely to be downsized through restructurings and layoffs. U.S. President Donald Trump's top Homeland Security official, Kristi Noem, joined officers in an immigration enforcement operation that arrested several people in New York City on Tuesday. The Trump administration stepped up immigration arrests in recent days with about 1,000 to 1,200 arrests per day, far above the daily average of 311 in the fiscal year 2024. As Trump continues to push for more border reinforcements, U.S. Marines are working on adding barbed wire to sections of the southern border wall near San Isidro since Monday. The operation, part of an initiative by U.S. Northern Command and Department of Homeland Security, adds barriers to sectors of the border wall. Meanwhile, 2 Colombian Air Force planes carrying deportees from the United States arrived in Bogota on Tuesday, paving the way for U.S. President Donald Trump's administration to lift visa restrictions and other measures on Colombian citizens. One plane flying from San Diego, California, brought 110 Colombians and another which departed from El Paso, Texas, brought 91 people. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that Colombian authorities agreed to all of President Trump's demands regarding the deportation of their nationals.
When President Trump swiftly directed his team to issue harsh and effective sanctions and tariffs on the Colombian government, upon hearing they were denied a U.S. military aircraft full of their own citizens who were deported by this administration. Within hours, the Colombian government agreed to all of President Trump's demands, proving America is once again respected on the world stage.
In a rapidly deteriorating situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the key city of Goma is on the brink of falling to M23 rebels backed by Rwanda. On Wednesday, DRC President Felix Tshisekedi was set to meet with Rwandan President Paul Kagame at an emergency summit in Kenya as international pressure mounts to end the violence. Here's a report by DD India's Harshita Oberoi.
The crisis in eastern Congo has reached a critical point. M23 rebel forces, reportedly supported by Rwanda, seized control of Goma's airport, cutting off vital aid supplies to hundreds of thousands of displaced people. M23 is tightening its grip on the provincial capital. The streets are littered with bodies following a brutal offensive that forced Congolese troops into retreat. As violence escalated, protests broke out in the Congolese capital, Kinshasa, with demonstrators storming UN offices and foreign embassies blaming foreign intervention for the unrest. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio urged an immediate ceasefire and called for all parties to respect the DRC's sovereignty. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has urgently spoken with the presidents of Congo and Rwanda, seeking a path to peace. But UN officials warn the crisis, ranging for decades, will not be solved overnight.
The situation in Goma remains tense and rather fluid. M23 forces, we are told, are inside the city, and UN peacekeeping personnel and troops have largely been forced to shelter in their bases.
The United States has urged the UN Security Council to take action against Rwanda and M23 rebels. For the people of Goma, the consequences are devastating. UN officials describe the civilian suffering as unimaginable.
The degree of suffering that the population in Goma and its environments is enduring is truly unimaginable.
DRC accuses Rwanda of seeking to profit from the region's rich mineral resources, including gold, cotton, copper, and cobalt. Congo has called for sanctions on Rwanda, but Rwanda continues to deny involvement. From the United Nations Charter to international humanitarian law to human rights, and also the Luanda and Nairobi peace processes, Rwanda has proven time and again that your statements mean absolutely nothing.
I'd like to also recall that Rwanda has always shown restraint and sought to engage the DRC in dealing with the root causes of insecurity in the region and along our common border.
As gunfire and explosions echoed through the city overnight, thousands of refugees, along with Congolese soldiers seeking asylum, fled across the border into Rwanda. The Rwandan government has opened its doors, processing the influx of refugees, but the future remains uncertain for many. Harshita Oberoi's report for DD India.
And now we take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. Rescuers were trying to save a Japanese truck driver stuck in a sinkhole for more than 24 hours as a road caved in at Yashio City outside Tokyo. A lorry has plunged into the hole that is around the width of 2 cars. Local residents have been evacuated over possible breakage of gas pipes. According to the fire department, the driver was able to speak directly to the rescuers until early Tuesday afternoon, but rescue workers had to retreat after the area around the hole became unstable. North Korea's Kim Jong-un has vowed to continue the country's nuclear program indefinitely during a visit to a nuclear material production base and nuclear weapons institute. This comes after US President Donald Trump expressed his intention to re-engage with Kim diplomatically. Kim has warned of an inevitable confrontation with hostile nations and emphasized on the importance of bolstering North Korea's nuclear forces by 2025. Myanmar's military junta is expected to extend the country's state of emergency that is set to expire on Friday, that is January 31st. This will mark the beginning of the 4th year under the military regime since a coup. Myanmar has been in a turmoil since early 2021 when the military seized power from Aung San Suu Kyi's elected government and violently suppressed pro-democracy protests, sparking a nationwide armed rebellion. You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, US European tech shares recover some losses after steep DeepSeek Monday sell-off. Trump's crypto czar says intellectual property theft may be at play. World chess champion D. Gukesh becomes sole leader at Tata Steel chess tournament in Netherlands. Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Let's get you the latest from Mahakumbh, the largest gathering of humans on the planet. Millions of devotees continue to visit Prayagraj to take holy dip on the auspicious occasion of Mauni Amavasya. Authorities have issued an advisory asking all devotees to treat the ghats as equal to the Sangam and also avoid any rush or misinformation of any kind. Elaborate security and crowd management systems are in place at the Mela site to assist the devotees. Traffic advisory of the police is also in place for Prayagraj to ensure proper crowd management. A mishap has been reported from Kumbh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and is continuously monitoring the situation.
ये जो भारी दबाव श्रद्धालु जनों के कारण और श्रद्धालुओं के संगम नोच पर जाने के कारण वहाँ पर एक बना हुआ है, लेकिन पूरा प्रशासन मौके पे वहाँ मौजूद है। लगातार प्रशासन स्थानीय स्तर पर श्रद्धालुओं की सकुशल स्नान कराने के से रात्रि को कल सायंकाल 6:30-7 बजे से ही मौनी अमावस्या का मुहूर्त प्रारंभ होने के बाद से ही लगातार लगा हुआ है।
Meanwhile, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a social media post on X termed the tragedy that took place in Prayagraj Mahakumbh as extremely sad. He expressed deepest condolences to the devotees who have lost their loved ones and wished speedy recovery of all the injured. His X post on social media further said that the local administration is engaged in helping the victims in every possible way and he himself is in touch with the state government by speaking to Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. In a remarkable turn of events, a family of 4 was rescued after days after 2 days after the Burari building collapsed in India's national capital, Delhi. Trapped under the rubble since Monday evening, they were saved in the early hours of Wednesday. According to Delhi police, the family, including 2 children, has been hospitalized and is receiving medical treatment. Rescue efforts are still ongoing with teams from Delhi Police, Delhi Fire Services, DDMA and NDRF working together. In connection with the incident, the Delhi Police have filed an FIR under various sections of the Indian Penal Code and arrested the builder Yogendra Bhatti. And now we take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India. As western state of Maharashtra registers over 100 cases of GBS, the Director General of Indian Council of Medical Research, Dr. Rajiv Behl, says that the cases are under investigation as a team of experts have collected various samples. He said that the cause or the link of GBS is found only in 40% of the cases. The Union Health Ministry has also deputed a high-level multidisciplinary team to Pune to aid the state authorities in further investigation. Celebration of the 76th Republic Day in India will come to a close with the melodious, iconic Beating the Retreat ceremony at Vijay Chowk on Wednesday. This annual event marks the closing events of Republic Day celebrations, which involve the performance by Indian Army, Navy, Air Force and Central Armed Police Force bands. China's DeepSeek limited the registration of new users to large-scale cyber attacks on its services. The low-cost Chinese generative AI venture is thought to have matched US companies in its abilities, but at a fraction of the cost. The program has shaken up the tech industry and hit US titans, including NVIDIA, the AI chip juggernaut that saw nearly $600 billion of its market value erased. This was the most ever for one day on Wall Street. Though US stocks and shares in chip-making giant NVIDIA on Tuesday clawed some of their losses, all 3 major indices on Wall Street finished higher, with the Nasdaq Composite rising 2.2%, bowed by a rise in tech stocks, reversing some of its losses from Monday. ChatGPT creator OpenAI said on Tuesday that the Chinese firms are constantly trying to tap into US rivals to improve Chinese artificial intelligence models. OpenAI made the comments after the White House said it was evaluating possible national security concerns raised by China's DeepSeek. Working on these lines, OpenAI has launched ChatGPT Gov. This is a customized AI tool for US government agencies. With 90,000 existing ChatGPT users across federal, state and local US governments, this new version aims to enhance productivity. OpenAI's goal is to ensure AI benefits the public and aligns with democratic values. ChatGPT Gov is built on the enterprise version and can operate on Microsoft's cloud platform. All right, let's get to updates from the world of sports now. World chess champion D. Gukesh has become the sole leader after he beat Leon-Luc Mendonca in the 9th round of Tata Steel chess tournament in Netherlands. He clinched his 4th win of the tournament in just 43 moves. Gukesh, who became the youngest world chess champion in Singapore last month, has secured 6.5 points from a possible 9. Gukesh's next 4 opponents include 2 Dutchmen. He will also face a stern challenge from last year's defending champion, Wei Yi. On to tennis, world number 6 Novak Djokovic has pulled out of Davis Cup match due to injury. Djokovic was set to represent Serbia against Denmark in the Davis Cup first round qualifying tie in Copenhagen from January 13th to February 2nd. Last week, the 24 times Grand Slam champion retired due to a hamstring injury in the Australian Open semi-final match against Alexander Zverev. Djokovic was part of the Serbian team which lifted the Davis Cup in 2010. Manchester City head into the final group game against Club Brugge on Wednesday, needing a win to stay in the hunt for Champions League knockout stages. City have reached the Champions League knockout stages every season since 2016, but they are in danger of missing out this year. They sit at 25th position in the standings. The top 8 teams qualify directly for the last 16, while the clubs that finished 9th to 24th contest the playoffs to advance. Brugge have not lost a game in all competitions since late October and are 20th in the Champions League standings, 3 points above City. Niagara Falls have been blanketed in heavy snow and ice as extreme cold gripped the region. On January 28th, thick ice and snow surrounded the iconic landmark, creating a scenic winter scene. Overseas tourists, including the ones from US and Sweden, were left in awe with the incredible look of the Niagara Falls. Despite appearances, Niagara Parks confirmed that the falls never fully freeze. The rushing water of Niagara Falls continues to flow beneath the thick ice crust. All right, that's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.